Welcome to Celebrity Investing, your go-to source for insights, tips, and updates on navigating the exciting landscape of personal and global finance. Please like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive content. This is part 1 of Ponzi schemes explained: how to spot, avoid, and understand their impact. Ponzi schemes promise big returns with little risk, but they're nothing more than financial traps. These fraudulent setups lure people in by paying early investors with money from new recruits, not actual profits. In today's world of online scams and too good to be true offers, understanding how these schemes work is more important than ever. This article breaks down what Ponzi schemes are, how to spot red flags, and how to protect yourself from falling victim. What is a Ponzi scheme? A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investment scam that promises high returns with little to no risk. Unlike legitimate investments, it doesn't generate profits through actual business activities or market growth. Instead, it pays existing investors with money collected from new participants. This unsustainable setup is designed to collapse when new recruitments slow down or stop altogether, leaving most investors empty-handed. History of Ponzi schemes. The name, Ponzi scheme, comes from Charles Ponzi, who ran one of the most infamous scams in the 1920s. Ponzi promised investors massive returns by supposedly exploiting international postage coupons and currency exchange rates. While his early investors saw returns, those gains came entirely from funds collected from newer recruits. Eventually, the scheme fell apart, costing investors millions and landing Ponzi in jail. However, the concept behind such schemes predates Ponzi himself. Similar scams existed as early as the 19th century, with fraudulent operators using the same tactic of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Ponzi just popularized this deceitful approach, making his name synonymous with this type of scam. His case also exposed how greed can blind even savvy individuals to unrealistic promises. Mechanics of a Ponzi scheme. At its core, a Ponzi scheme is all about appearances. It relies on constant recruitment to sustain itself. Here's how it typically operates. The hook. Fraudsters offer an investment opportunity, with guaranteed high returns, often above market rates. They use impressive sounding but vague explanations to hide the lack of real profit-generating activities. Early payouts. To build trust, early investors receive their promised returns. These payouts come from the money pooled by newer participants, not from legitimate earnings. Seeing these payments, people gain confidence and often reinvest their profits. Recruitment drive. Word spreads. New investors join, bringing in more money to keep the cycle going. The scheme may even create fake reports or testimonials to make it seem more credible. The collapse. Eventually, recruitment slows and the fraud runs out of new funds. Without constant inflows, the scheme crumbles. Latecomers lose everything, and often, earlier investors lose their principal once payouts dry up. Ponzi schemes thrive because they exploit trust, greed, and the fear of missing out. They often target communities or individuals who are unaware of how legitimate investments work, making them an easy target. Their simplicity, masked as sophistication, is what makes them so dangerous. Identifying Ponzi schemes. Understanding how to spot a Ponzi scheme is crucial for protecting your finances. These scams often hide in plain sight, disguised as promising investment opportunities. But beneath their flashy promises lie patterns and tactics that can expose them for what they truly are: fraud. Let's break it down. Red flags to watch for. Certain warning signs are almost universal among Ponzi schemes. Knowing these can help you steer clear of financial disaster. Watch out for unrealistic returns. If someone guarantees high, consistent returns regardless of market conditions, it's a big red flag. Legitimate investments fluctuate with the market, there are no guarantees. Lack of transparency. Are the investment strategies vague or overly complex? Ponzi schemes often use technical jargon to confuse rather than clarify. Pressure to recruit. If you're encouraged to bring in new investors and promised rewards for doing so, be cautious. This recruitment model is essential to keeping the scam afloat. No real products or services. Legitimate investments rely on actual revenue-generating activities. If there's no clear business or product backing the opportunity, something is wrong. Difficulty withdrawing funds. Ponzi schemes will delay or deny withdrawal requests, claiming administrative issues or urging you to reinvest instead. These schemes prey on trust and the fear of missing out, FOMO. Spotting these warning signs early can save you from falling victim. Comparison with legitimate investments. How can you tell the difference between a Ponzi scheme and a real investment? It helps to understand what legitimate opportunities look like, varied performance versus consistent returns. Real investments fluctuate. They rise and fall with market conditions. Ponzi schemes, on the other hand, insist on delivering steady, high returns. Transparency versus mystery. Genuine investments provide accessible information. You should be able to research the company or product and understand how profits are generated. Scams keep you in the dark, using vague terms or claiming proprietary secrets. Regulation versus loopholes. Legitimate investments are often registered with regulatory bodies like the SEC. A lack of proper documentation or registration is a major red flag. No recruiting pressure. Real investments don't require you to bring in others to succeed. Recruitment models are hallmarks of Ponzi operations. Think of legitimate investments like a garden. They grow with time, effort, and care. Ponzi schemes are more like a mirage. They look enticing but vanish when you get too close. By recognizing these key differences, you can protect yourself from being misled. The legal and financial consequences. Ponzi schemes leave devastation in their wake, impacting both the victims and the perpetrators. Beyond the surface of financial losses, the consequences ripple through lives in ways that are often irreversible. Let's break down how these schemes take their toll and what happens to those who orchestrate them. Impact on victims. Victims of Ponzi schemes often face monumental financial losses, but the damage doesn't stop there. These schemes target trust and hope, creating consequences that go far beyond drained bank accounts. Financial ruin. Many victims empty their life savings or liquidate assets to invest. Retirement funds, home equity, and college savings are often wiped out. Recovering from these financial losses can take years, if it happens at all. Emotional toll. Losing money is one thing, but the betrayal cuts much deeper. Victims are left feeling ashamed and often blame themselves, even though the fraud wasn't their fault. The stress can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. Broken relationships. Ponzi schemes often spread through friend groups, religious communities, or families. This creates tension and mistrust, as victims may believe others knowingly lured them in. The emotional fallout can fracture relationships permanently. Legal battles. Some victims get tangled in lawsuits while trying to recover their money. This can add further stress, particularly when they learn most funds are unrecoverable. Falling victim to a Ponzi scheme is more than a financial setback, it's an emotional and social ordeal. These schemes exploit human trust in cruel and systematic ways. Legal actions and penalties. Running a Ponzi scheme is a serious crime, and the legal system doesn't take it lightly. Fraudsters face harsh repercussions, but law enforcement also focuses on tracking and returning stolen funds whenever possible. Criminal charges. Perpetrators are often charged with fraud, racketeering, or other criminal offenses. Depending on the size of the scheme, sentences can range from several years to life in prison. Some well-known fraudsters have received decades-long sentences. Financial penalties. Courts typically order repayment to investors, known as restitution. However, by the time a Ponzi scheme collapses, most of the money is gone or spent. This leaves victims with only a fraction of their original investment. Stay tuned and continue to watch our videos to gain valuable insights into the world of finance. Subscribe, like, and share to continue your journey to financial success.